Jesus knew what was coming. The disciples were probably troubled at the Last Supper. And now he goes to a garden, a quiet garden called Gethsemane, where he wrestles with what lies ahead. He even asks God if there could be another way, but ultimately he surrenders to the Father's will. After he's prayed there, soldiers come to arrest him, and Judas, it was in his heart to betray Jesus. He decides what to do. He shows them, he leads them to where Jesus is. Jesus knows this is about the prophets being fulfilled, and he knows it was part of God's plan. Let's hear our readings today. The story of Gethsemane and where Jesus is taken, how he is taken to the governor, Pilate, how he's placed on trial, the confusion that Pilate faces, the dilemma. Pilate was fearful about what would happen. Could he release Jesus or hand him over? Okay.
There was a quiet garden called Gethsemane, where Jesus liked to pray. After the meal, he took Peter, James and John there to pray with him. While they rested, Jesus fell to his knees. He knew that the priests were coming for him, and he felt afraid. "Father, I know what needs to happen, but it's going to be very hard," he said. "Please help me." Jesus spoke to God for a long time, and his disciples fell asleep. Soon, Judas entered the garden, followed by men armed with swords and fiery torches. "Rise," called Jesus. "Here comes the traitor." Peter, James and John rose quickly, but it was too late. Judas walked up to Jesus and kissed his cheek. It was a signal to the guards that this was the man they should arrest. The guards grabbed Jesus by the arms and held him tightly. Peter wanted to fight, but Jesus stopped him. "My Father in heaven will protect me," he said.
The chief priests took Jesus to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. The Romans were in charge of Jerusalem, so it was Pilate's job to decide what would happen to prisoners. Pilate questioned Jesus, trying to find out if he was an enemy of Rome. Pilate knew that the chief priests wanted Jesus dead, but he believed Jesus was harmless.
The chief priests wanted Jesus dead, the threat that he was. Many had changed their minds on Jesus, even in the days that had followed Palm Sunday. Pilate believed Jesus to be harmless, but also feared there may be a riot. What would he do? What choice did he face? Well, ultimately, he was worried about his own position. He knew what he faced from both sides. He believed Jesus to be harmless. But how would he respond? How would he deal with it? Join us tomorrow as we think about the events of Good Friday, what took place, and what it means for us.